yeah, let's fucking kick it off. I'll be a piece of shit and take the first review. I watched the
Piece
movie
of shit. Sorry.
Stinker Asshole. Well, that's stinkers are. I don't fucking know, but I do like that. Yeah, let's get that sound bit in the show from here on out. Hey, welcome back to the show. This is Movie Toast News and Reviews. I'm Adam, and Dennis is here with me. What's up, man?
Hey. Okay, sorry. I felt the inspiration. It's good to talk to you again, Adam. It's been far too long. I am excited to be back toasting some movies with you.
Separate has been what, like 2 weeks, but it feels like it's been eternity, man. How was your hiatus? You doing anything fun?
No, it was pretty chill. 4th of July, the dog got a little scared with all the fireworks in the neighborhood, but
it's gonna be kind of shitty. Sorry to hear that.
She handled okay.
Nice.
It's not bad. Nothing too crazy.
Nice.
Middle of the road.
Cool.
What about you, man? Where are you at?
I've been good. Just doing the regular shit in lockdown. Still not working, so that's life.
Yeah, as I think a lot of us are in the same place, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's some big changes coming to the world of movie toast, and I think it'd be right for us to talk about it right now on the top of the show. What do you think, Dennis?
Yes, I would say big changes, but nothing too drastic.
Yeah.
We're still trying to deliver to you the same quality movie toast goodness. We want to give you the same movie conversations we always have. You're going to hear some different voices. Just some of us are going to go in and out as we're available from week to week. Yeah, we still just cannot help but talk about movies with you guys.
Yeah, honestly, like we said before, we were planning to take a hiatus, take some time off through the summer. But honestly, I couldn't stop watching movies, and I want to talk about fucking movies. And I was happy that you said, "Hey, I want to come back and talk for a bit too." So it's like,
oh cool. Yeah,
and then it's like, you know what? Hey, well, we always talk about doing some stuff. Let's start doing it right now. No time like the present. So
exactly
what we're planning to do, pretty much, we're gonna kind of cut down to one review a week, like it used to be. Well, one review podcast a week, but we want to bring back news with the Movie Toast News and Reviews. We haven't had news in forever because news hasn't really been there. So Dennis, you want to talk about what we're going to do with the news?
So we're going to kind of diversify where you're going to see some of our material. You're, of course, going to keep getting reviews on the usual podcast, but we're going to move the news segments over to Twitch. We're going to try to give the Twitch audience a shot. We just think that the news is something that needs to be delivered really fast. And we had a little bit of an issue previously where we just didn't quite feel like we were giving it to you fast enough, or at least as fast as we thought you were reading the information. So now it's more focused on the discussion of what the news will be.
And I don't want to cut in and just sound like a dick, but it's like we realized that everyone in the audience that we have so far have really enjoyed listening to the reviews as a podcast, but we've noticed that the news is kind of hard, like you said, timely issues and stuff. It's like, why not put our fucking ugly faces out in the world and see what's going on?
We've always talked about trying to get into these other realms, and Twitch was one of them. That's one of them. It's always been right at the top of the list alongside YouTube.
Yes.
The other thing we want to touch base with you folks. We're getting it a solid shot. See how it lands. But again, you're going to see some faces come in and out of the group, familiar and not so familiar. We've already got a couple people interested in lending their voice or maybe their faces to a segment or two. We've already got some of the other toasters who are not going to be here tonight, but are already planning on coming back. It's just going to be a matter of, when it works out for everybody.
Yeah, scheduling and stuff. Like we said before, we really burnt ourselves out doing it before. We're hitting it so fucking hard. And it's like,
100%.
Hey, I get it fucking wears on you. So those guys need a little longer break, and when they're ready to come back, we're ready. We'll fucking jump into the pool with them. Yeah, like you said, Twitch, we're doing the movie news, and that's going to be every Sunday night we're doing that. So you're getting the last week's news, not all of it, just the shit we find fun, and the stuff we don't talk about you can read on our Twitter page at movie_toast. But we're going to try to do like 11 p.m. Eastern time, and like, what is that, like 8 Central time?
Yeah, it's about 8 o'clock. Yeah,
give or take, that's the time zone we're working
around
with.
Then. Which, by the way, on Twitch, you can follow us at movie_toast, I believe.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah. So let's get into what we're going to do in the world of YouTube. There used to be a segment we had before, Dennis, I don't think you were here for it, where we would talk about trailers. We'd watch trailers and then talk about them. It was called Trailer Talk. And we've been talking about really finding a way to bring that back into the show, but we didn't have the right format. So we decided, let's do trailer reaction videos. That's going to be Trailer Talk. We're going to do one a week. We're going to drop those. I don't think we have the date figured out yet, but once a week, probably Mondays, if I had to guess.
Yeah. I feel like something like that. It's we're still fast and loose with the date release, but it's going to be a weekly show or a weekly video that we'll post to YouTube. Which again, same handle. You can find us on YouTube at movie_toast. But this is going to be where you start finding our trailer talk videos alongside some of the other video segments we've had in the past.
But we're if you could bear with us with the video, we're still figuring it out. It looks a little janky here and there, but we're honing in on it.
Working with what's available to us at the moment. I hope the hardcore movie toasters will remain. I know you're here for the conversation, you're here for the voice, you're here for the personality. We're gonna keep giving that to you. I don't know. I'm ready to dive into this review if you are, man.
Yeah, let's fucking kick it off. I'll be a piece of shit and take the first review. So yeah, I watched a Hulu original which came out last Friday called Palm Springs, starring Andy Samberg and Kristen Milioti. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. The mother from How I Met Your Mother. It's wacky. It's out there. It's crazy. It's different. It's not what you think. Like, it starts off as like a regular rom-com, and then it sidesteps hardcore into a weird time loop situation. So this movie is about a guy that's at a wedding, and he somehow got into a cave, and he lives that wedding day over and over again every single day. And he's been there for, he doesn't even know how long. And he has a nemesis who he also got stuck in the cave, which was J.K. Simmons, who hunts him down every day. Well, not every day, but pretty frequently.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. And one day he decides, hey, I kind of dig the sister of the bride, even though I'm dating another sister of the bride, but I know she's cheating on me and I have proof of it. So I'm going to make my move on the sister of the bride. And they start hooking up one night, and then J.K. Simmons shoots an arrow into Andy Samberg's back. None of this is spoils because it's in the trailer. And so Andy Samberg's crawling back into the cave that is the cave of time loop. He tells the girl, don't follow me in here, but she follows him in anyways, and she's stuck in the time loop, and it's just seeing the two of them kind of bond and form a relationship kind of in this time loop, but still, she's trying to figure out how to get out. He gave up all hope of getting out. J.K. Simmons has all hope of getting out, and it's like Groundhog's Day, but honestly, I like it so much better than Groundhog's Day. It's fun, it's wacky, it's relevant, it's today. There's a lot of different takes, and it's just seeing how you can have fun every day. Yeah, that's all I want to say about it. It's really good. I'd say it's a green light. It's called Palm Springs. It's on Hulu. It's an original Hulu movie.
I was curious what their twist was on it. So I'm still very intrigued. I would like to see the execution of it. The style fit was very interesting to me in the trailer, and the cast, it looks great. Like I was already sold with Andy Samberg and J.K. Simmons alone. So
yeah, and it has a lot of like people whose faces you might be like, oh, that guy from this show or that show, and it's produced by The Lonely Island, and that's kind of cool. This movie premiered, I want to say, not Tribeca, at one of the big fucking festivals. Fuck, now I feel like a piece of shit for not knowing what festival. And it was the largest fucking bought movie at a festival. And The Lonely Island's like, hey, we appreciate this. It's a great big payout, but could you round us up to 69 cents? So we're the highest by 69 cents. And they did, which was kind of cool.
Was it like $17 million they raised or something?
Yeah, something crazy they got.
That's
and honestly,
insane.
It's worth it. I already watched the movie, and I think I might watch it again sometime. Not right away.
Oh, shit.
It has good rewatch value. If I had to choose time loop movies, this is one of them. And the thing I forgot to mention about this movie, it has heart. It's not just goofy. Like, everyone's battling their own demons and stuff, and there's some serious drama that's not on the surface, but it's built in there and caked in. And it's kind of heartwarming and gut-wrenching at the same time, and always a fun laugh-a-minute kind of movie.
Nice.
Which I know those things don't normally mix together well, and I probably did not sell it properly, but it's really fun.
No, the idea of something like Groundhog Day, but you're actually seeing it from multiple characters' perspectives instead of just the one. Instead of just Bill Murray, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what if the whole town had to? I don't know.
And you
That
do
idea
see
of,
the same day kind of reversed from one person to the next person. You do see the
oh,
same
okay.
exact day because at some point a character goes off and does something different from the other character, and we're seeing one character for a little bit, and then we're seeing the other character, and it's like, oh shit. And then we're seeing another character in a whole different line. It's crazy. It's smart. Whoever
Oh,
wrote this
okay.
movie, spot on. Genius. Good job.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Well, I'm
that's
sold, man. What's the would you recommend that to us fans, sir?
I definitely would recommend this, man. Palm Springs, if you got Hulu, get it. If you don't have Hulu, get a fucking Hulu fucking subscription. It's cheap. Or just get a fucking free trial sample and watch the movie and then cancel the sample. I don't know. Yeah.
Get a fucking Hulu subscription.
You can tell it's been a while since we've done this because I'm just rambling like an idiot.
No worries, man. It's all good.
So what did you watch? What's your first movie of the week?
So something else newer that I thought worth mentioning. I am not one to talk often of stage plays or musicals, but in the 4th of July kind of festivityness, we watched Hamilton over at our place, and I honestly had a great fucking time watching it. Huh. That was something where I've grown up watching a few different musicals. Singing in the Rain is very close to my heart, as well as White Christmas. The idea of a musical or musically driven story, not too crazy for me personally. Mm-hmm. Just to give you that background. Having said that, I wasn't quite ready for the fact that there's almost no narrative scenes without music the entire time. You are like, you're being driven from song to song. The whole thing is just music. Still fun.
Now, what's the plot? I know it's about Alexander Hamilton or whatnot, but
so we're following the inspiration. It is inspired by the life of Alexander Hamilton, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is the writer, the star of the play, is the star of this. Now, the way I viewed it, this is when Disney Plus posted it to their streaming service, and this is how I'm considering watching it as a feature, I suppose.
Well, it was coming out in theaters, so that's
yes,
legit.
That is true. That is very true. This is a film inspired by Alexander Hamilton's life. This is following the events roughly surrounding his life. The fact that he is a immigrant to what was colonial United States and had such a strong influence in the founding of our nation. Yet, as Lin-Manuel Miranda pointed out when he was writing the play, it wasn't a person that he found got the recognition he deserved. So it was an interesting story to hear. These particular highlights weren't something you really got a lot of in American history, I feel like, in public school upbringing. So it was a fun watch. Now, setting all historical fact aside, because I know there are some things that can be argued back and forth as far as perspective and what the story was actually about. It was a very entertaining story to watch. The way they used the stage, they didn't have like really dramatic backdrops that they changed so much as it was how they presented the song to you. I like that we had the same cast regardless of the period of time they're portraying. So there wasn't like a different cast member for this character, this age, and this age. It was just the same actor all the way through. Nice. No question of any of that stuff. It kind of kept some of the quicker songs a little easier to keep track of who was where. And then when you get to the later scenes, it had a little more gravity. It was a fun ride. So there was a lot of faces I recognized right away. I want to say his name's Daveed Diggs. Yeah. Yes. I recognized him immediately from Kimmy Schmidt. And he had such a great character on that show. And the fact that he was doing a similar thing where he was rapping his lyrics to his students, or his character was rapping his lyrics to the audience.
See, I'm assuming Tina Fey got him to do that because she saw him in Hamilton, I bet.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, it was fantastic. It made total sense why.
If you want to see him in an amazing movie, you should check out this movie called Blind Spotting. It is about like inner city stuff. There's him and a white guy. They're movers. And you just see like some shit go down with the police, and it's powerful. He wrote it and stuff. Sorry, I'm not hijacking here. I'm going to shut
up. No worries. That, and I got to be honest, every time Jonathan Groff got on stage, he's just about stole the scene. Like, I'd almost forget about whatever we just saw, and it was easily some of the funniest scenes in all of Hamilton, where King George gets on stage and he does his commentary on what's going on. It was really funny. Apparently he is not the original cast member who played King George, but in this version, Jonathan Groff played him, and he was just fantastic. And he just commits to every line he's slinging at the stage. Oh God, I feel like I could keep talking in detail for a very long time about it, but it is honestly worth a watch. If you're on the fence about watching it, please watch it. Every cast member delivers a stellar performance.
Hear nothing but great things. I watched the trailer and I'm like, that looks so fucking boring. But I know everyone says it's amazing. So it's like,
there's Adam, just for you, not even the rest of you toasters. So I think I've convinced you guys, at least the ones that I should have. But just for you, Adam.
No, you convinced me.
There's something about the cadence of just watching it. Like once you see the cast going about how they're delivering their line, there's something in the air, in the room. Like if you got surround sound, fucking kick that on. Or if you got headphones, like the best headphones you got, just please watch it with those on. It is worth giving the best audio quality you can when watching this movie.
This is like a 3-hour thing, right? Ordeal.
It's an endeavor. It's an endeavor. It gives you an intermission. There is an intermission countdown in the middle of it, and I suggest you take advantage of it because I know I needed it. It's worth a watch. Yeah.
What's the magic? There's something about it. Is there one thing that you can pinpoint and say this is like the magic of Hamilton? Like this thing really made it. Is it the music, the way it's delivered, the cast?
For me, it was the music.
Okay.
Once you get like a song or two in, and you hear the voice of Hamilton, like you kind of really hone in on like, okay, this is what you're giving me for the next 3 hours. I was sold. Like I was just like, okay, I am all about how you're giving me the story, because it's quick, and it's one of those where if you don't listen to a lot of rap music, you might miss some dialogue. I'm going to be honest, because it's delivered in a manner where it's like it's hitting you fast. They're hitting you hard. It's
nice.
Very much worth it. I highly recommend it. If you're remotely interested in musicals, please watch it if you haven't already. If you enjoy the story, if you like colonial America, if you like just the learning some fragments of that history, more than enough reason to watch it, because I think it's delivered in a manner that is very interesting. It will keep you entertained. Even if you're not watching every frame of it, listening to the songs, you're going to laugh. I got choked up at the end, the final scene in the film, without giving it away. If you know the true story of the man, you know how he goes down. But
is Aaron Burr in it?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Aaron Burr is one of the other main characters in it. And it's their final confrontation is honestly, that was the most moving scene for me. And it really hits you. 10 out of 10 green lights. Get it. Hamilton.
Disney Plus, correct?
Disney Plus.
I act like I don't know. I know it's Disney Plus.
No. Let them know in case they doubt it.
All right. So the next movie I'm about to review just came out Friday as well. I didn't know anything about it. My girlfriend's like, hey, this actress was on this podcast and talked about it, and it sounds good. And I'm like, a new movie, I'm watching it. I rented this movie called Relic. I rented it on Amazon. I think it's like $6.
Okay.
It's on every platform. It's a horror movie starring Emily Mortimer. I don't know if you know her. She's in a bunch of different things, but she normally doesn't do horror movies. So I'm like, that kind of intrigues me right there. So pretty much it's a story based in, I was going to say Arizona, but that's way the fuck off, in Australia. So it starts off with a mother and daughter driving to a house in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. It turns out Emily Mortimer's mother went missing. Her elderly mother, no one's seen her for days. It's been weeks since she's talked to her. So they go to her house, see if she's alive or even there, and they can't find her. There's a whole search party. A day or two goes by. The mother just shows up. She looks like she's been through hell, but she acts like nothing happened. And she's kind of standoffish. She treats her daughter kind of like shit, but treats her granddaughter nicely. And they're just trying to figure out what happened to her. And there's some weird things that they notice about the grandmother that starts happening over time. And like she has these weird mood swings. It feels like something's taken over her body almost. I went into this movie thinking it was going to be a creature movie. That's what I thought, and it was not a creature movie. And that made me happy that I couldn't call it. It's just a slow decay of a woman, pretty much. You see at one point a doctor checks her out when she first comes home, and she has a black spot of like mold or something above her chest, like right where her heart is. And then over time, you see it spreading throughout her body. You kind of see it on the house. It's just there's some really weird shit happening. And oh god, there's so much I want to talk about in this movie. And pretty
Oh,
much
shit.
the grandmother says, "Oh, I there's some people that have been coming in the house, some things that have been coming." And her daughter Emily Mortimer is like, "What is it, Mom? What is it?" And she's like, I don't know what it is, but something's been happening. And like they see the grandmother go off into the wild, sneaking out of the house again. And it's just such a mind trip. But I'm trying not to talk about stuff. But there's a scene where the granddaughter discovers a hidden room in the house, and she goes in there and discovers there's hidden rooms throughout the whole house. Walls are caving in on her, and so much shit. And the grandmother slowly becomes something else, and it's kind of like an allegory for watching your parents slowly decay and die, I guess. But I can't fucking tell you what happens at the end, but it's like I was disgusted, I was happy with what happened, and I was just so shocked and awed. I'm not giving this movie any justice here. It doesn't sound good what I'm saying, but
I mean, I'm interested. I can tell you right now, I want to watch this movie.
I want to say so much, and I'm trying to hold back because I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody. But it's not a creature movie. It's a horror movie. It's kind of a thriller. It's really good. It's called Relic. You can rent it on any VOD. I assume hopefully it'd be streaming on a service in a couple of months, but I would rent it. Honestly, most of the movies I've been watching on the pandemic, I buy because it's worth a couple of bucks extra. I wish I could have bought this movie. It's only available for rental. I want to watch it again. It's probably one of the best horror movies I've seen in the past 10 years at least.
Damn.
It's fucked up and it's weird. And I didn't even grab my phone to look at the time or tweet or text or anything. I'm like, my attention was right here. My girlfriend was right there with it. We didn't pause it. There was no distractions. It was great. So Relic, check it out if you get a chance.
Damn, badass. Yeah, I'm fucking sold, man. I want to watch that.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Nice.
I want to talk so much more about it, but I don't want to spoil shit. Sure. Yeah, so that's a green light in my book. Dennis, what else have you seen?
Oh, well, I finally caught up to you on what I think is going to be shortlisted for a Spike Lee classic.
No.
To Five Bloods.
I thought it was the Black Klansman. Fuck. But Five Bloods is also good.
Hey, I'll admit, I still have to see Black Klansman, and again, I've only heard nothing but good things, including what you've told me. So I very much got to get to seeing that. But this particular film, To Five Bloods, I wasn't 100% sure what I was getting into. Just commenting on the trailer. The trailer shows me a little bit of a heist story, a little bit of a comment on the socioeconomic environment and just the terrible racism that has been rampant in America since this time period that they're portraying. I appreciate their unflinching look at the war itself. I was not ready for the real war footage that they
that was
show you
graphic.
And it's real. It's like, this is what this is. This is not something to be taken casually. Like, this is what this amounts to when you declare war on someone. Like, God, and like that alone is heavy. Not to mention some of the facts that were dropped in the movie. Like, at the time, African Americans made up 11% of the United States, but they were 32% of the soldiers in Vietnam during the war.
That's crazy.
Really fucking heavy. But even that aside, I just had a killer time with just the presentation of the story. I like this unconventional means of narration that Spike Lee gives you, and I like this. I had this corner of America, this corner of the world. We haven't seen specifically this. We haven't seen direct like war films, or like we haven't touched this topic on the head so much as it's been addressed in some of his other movies, alongside everything else that's being talked about. But I really liked the direction this movie went. I liked that it was still had these elements of just like, someone's going to turn against the group, but you're not really sure who. And even when they start turning, you're like, yeah, but it could still,
Now, can I cut you off? I'm sorry. Could you just tell us like a brief what it's about?
A brief summary of the story of the film is there's a group of men who had all served together in Vietnam, and they had all gone out on the same mission together. There was a fifth member of the group that had unfortunately had their life taken away in this final mission. And what had happened was there was a cargo plane with a shipment of gold that was meant to pay the local soldiers, pay the local Vietnamese, because they didn't take U.S. currency or any other currency at that time other than just gold itself. this was just the easiest means of doing it. So this plane crashed. Only these 5 guys knew the exact location of where this plane was. They decided, all right, we're going to bury it. We know exactly where this is. While this was going down, they got overrun by a group of Viet Cong. And unfortunately, their platoon leader, their group leader, the guy played by, oh my God.
Boseman?
Yes, Mr. fucking Black Panther himself. And he gave a stellar performance. I thought he was badass.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he was motivating every time he was on screen. He was just like, fuck yeah, I'll follow this guy into whatever the fuck he tells me to. Like, I loved his delivery throughout every scene that he gave. But yeah, once he went down, they buried it, determined they're going to come back for it later. So this is 40 years later now, almost 50 years later. And it's present day. The soldiers have come back. The 4 remaining have come back to try to reclaim the gold. They're going to give the payment back to the Vietnam soldiers, or the Vietnam people who had originally deserved the payment, and they're going to bring the remains of their friend home. That is the setup of the film itself.
So much more happens too.
Jesus. Oh my God, yes. It gets deep. I like the interaction between Delroy Lindo gave a incredible performance when we're seeing his just unease being with the locals. And it's like, even when people are trying to help him, their guide that is actually taking them upriver, which they claim they knew well enough they didn't need a guide, but they clearly did need the guide. Even him, who was all about trying to help these guys and appreciated the gravity of the trip they were taking, at least as far as he knew, he was still treated with disdain. He was treated just like the people that Delroy Lindo's character Paul thought he was fighting against back in the 60s and 70s. I believe of the group, he was also the one that served the longest. Another notable name drop, Paul Walter Hauser.
Oh, just stellar.
Yeah, it's one of those where, like, he doesn't need to be like oversold that he's in the movie, because there's incredible actors in the movie already. Not to mention the other main cast members, which all of them deserve their own intro. But I thought it was cool that he got worked in there. Paul Walter Hauser, God, I mean, that guy is just great in everything he's in.
Oh, dude, I listened to him on a podcast. He literally seems like the sweetest human being ever. Like, he's just the most down to earth. He's a religious guy, but he doesn't push it on it. Like, from what I've heard, he seems amazing. And the work proves it. He's great in everything he's done in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
even his facial gestures, not even talking.
Now, we've talked at length about the movie before in the past on this podcast with some of the other members. I just want to throw my green light in there. If you're remotely interested in something from this time period, please watch it. If you're remotely interested in something just motivational, like there's something inspiring about just the journey they take. Although it is dark, it is heavy, you are going to see some real death and real blood. It's with a message and it's with a purpose. So if you're not too overly sensitive to it, I strongly recommend it. It is worth, as an American, I think it is worth watching. It gives a very intriguing perspective as to what a lot of Americans went through in this time period that honestly is just not talked about enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Netflix, green light, please have at it. Another Spike Lee incredible film, further solidifying his place in American filmdom for me.
Oh yeah, Defy Bloods. Yes, great movie. And timely as fuck right now with
hell yes. Oh, absolutely. And I feel like that's even more reason to watch it. The immediate things that are addressed, and even some of the subtle things that the characters do, some of the actions that are taken. Damn it, I don't want to spoil it for these guys.
Yeah, yeah.
There is some ultimate sacrifices are made. And I was not it happened so fast. I wasn't expecting it. And it was one of my favorite characters. I was just, oh my God.
Things happen in rapid succession. It's like, holy shit, that just happened. Okay, now we're gonna, well, fuck, this happened. Oh shit, we're gonna one up it every second, it felt like.
There's definitely scenes where you totally don't have enough time to like settle. They do a great job of lulling you into the state of ease, and just there's a lot of gorgeous footage of countryside, which I think was Thailand.
I know it's supposed to be Thailand, but I feel like they probably filmed in like Hawaii, if I had to guess.
Well, no, it's supposed to be Vietnam.
Okay.
But I think they actually filmed. Let's see. I'm going to look at it. Actually, I think this is worth looking up for you folks.
It's like an actual tidbit that's kind of fun and knowledgeable. Wherever they shot it, it's fucking beautiful looking. And,
oh, my God, yes.
And the fact that we're seeing these guys who left the country, like killing people and being at war, and then going back later and just interacting with them like they're normal human beings and not the enemy. That was kind of a
Oh
nice
yeah, absolutely.
juxtaposition.
And I did confirm. So they did, apparently a bulk of the filming was in Thailand, but they did actually film in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam.
Oh shit, nice.
But I would argue to the point, like the closing credits are worth watching all the way through, just to watch all of the exteriors that they shot and just the footage of Thailand itself.
Mm.
It's gorgeous. The music is great. Acting is stellar. You get a lot of the classic Spike Lee tropes. I loved when they were in the hotel before they set out onto the search for the gold itself, and you get that classic you get that classic shot of the son who is trying to join the group, and he's just looks so small against the rest of the Bloods. That was great and funny.
Oh yeah.
It's not totally without relief. You do get to catch your breath once in a while.
Oh yeah, there's jokes throughout the movie. So yeah, I'll stick with that. I'll keep going with the fucking Netflix train here. Eurovision, the story of Fire Saga. So Fire Saga is Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams are kind of lifelong friends, and they've been making songs up together, and they always dream on being in this European music tournament type show, which is a real show called Eurovision. So yeah, they've been friends throughout childhood. They start singing together. They're best friends. They want to be in this Eurovision singing competition so much. They put on shows throughout their whole town. They're in a small town in, I forget the country. I want to say they're in like Sweden or something. People kind of laugh at them. They have talent, but they don't really execute it. Rachel McAdams has more talent than Will Ferrell, but his dedication and drive is what really makes the band work. He's trying to live up to his father's expectations. His father's played by Pierce Brosnan, and he treats him like shit. Pierce Brosnan has like sex with all the ladies in the town. So like there's a running joke of maybe Rachel McAdams might be his sister, but they don't know. Now, I guess the countries themselves have to choose like 5 bands that they want to promote their country on this Eurovision. And there's one girl who's a shoo-in. She's amazing. Best voice. She's going to be a hit pop star. And they have 3 other guys, like 2 or 3 other people that are good. And they need one final person, and they let one guy choose, and he randomly pulls out a cassette tape by Fire Saga. They go and they perform because it's kind of like the semifinals. Everyone in the country, the 5 people, get to perform. Their performance goes horribly awry, like technical difficulties out the wazoo. Will Ferrell leaves and just fucking goes and has a pity party somewhere else when there's a boat party that's happening with everyone who performed. Needless to say, they did not pass that area. But Rachel McAdams goes out to consult Will Ferrell and tell him, hey, at least we got our shot. We tried it. Sorry, it didn't work. And you can see the boat party in the distance because Will Ferrell really wanted to go to the boat party. And as they're talking, the boat explodes.
Oh my God, that's fucking great.
And they're both like, wait a minute, that means we're the only ones alive. That means we're in. And so the next scene, you see the people at Eurovision talking. They're like, well, I guess these dipshits are in. They might suck, but I guess they're in. And then we cut to, we pan over and we see the 2 of them are there. And like, that means we're in. And they're so excited. And it's just fucking wacky. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this movie took me a little bit to get into. At first, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Fuck this movie. And then after that stuff, I'm like, oh shit, this movie's pretty good. And then
can I ask?
Yeah.
What if you had to compare it to a level of comedy in another Will Ferrell movie, what would you compare it to?
That's a tough question, to be honest with you. Fuck. Because
I feel like when I see it, I feel like the trailer looks to me like Blades of Glory.
That's what I was going to say. It has that type of, except he's not dueling. Yeah, it's kind of in the realm of Blades of Glory. I liked it more than Blades of Glory, to be honest with you.
Okay, nice, good.
So pretty much they end up making it onto the show, and they're kind of laughed at because they're not the world's best singers, but they have spirit and they have charisma, and they're given a trainer who like tweaks their songs up, and I can't really go on and say more about it, but it's a good movie. It has heart, it has soul. They even call it the fact that Rachel McAdams is much younger than Will Ferrell is. They make it work in the movie. No. And there's a lot going on, and it has heart, it has soul. I'd say it's a yellow light, in my opinion. If you like goofy comedies, it's a little long for me. if it was a little shorter, I might say a little tighter, I might say it's a green light. But everyone loves it.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
there's original music in here that's hilarious. There's like a song called Volcano Mama, and just random things. There's like
God.
the two of them like on like keyboards across from each other up on a cliff with fucking beautiful water underneath them. They're dressed as Vikings. It's just wacky and out there, and it's fun. But unfortunately, not as great as I'd hoped. So that's
Okay.
yeah, yellow, but it's definitely worth a check out if you're looking to have a good laugh and a little
All right.
heartwarming
All right.
movie. What else?
Nice.
What do you got?
Yeah, well, the next movie I got is something a little older. It is a horror classic. Some of you toasters might have already seen before, but I had my first viewing of the 1980 version of Prom Night starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Huh.
That was a trip. Now, this will be a little quicker. If you're into these kind of slasher, cheesy, teenage horror 80s movies, it is totally up your alley. It hits a lot of the tropes you would expect. What I liked about this is that they hit you with so many. You're trying to guess who the killer is, and you're trying to guess who matters to the plot, and you're kind of left like, okay, now it could be any number of these people. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of suspects. There was a moment where my girlfriend and I both were just like, oh, okay, when you finally see the killer, it was satisfying. It was a nice reveal, and I wasn't totally expecting it. I mean, it could only be so many people, of course, but it was still a fun ride. It's kind of a fun ride. You still get these crazy kills. You did a lot of these like teen horror rules they followed that, like, again, like I mentioned, the tropes that they have to hit.
Yeah.
The ones that have sex, of course, are the ones that die, but the ways they bring them down are still entertaining on screen. Shit, what's his name? Another recognizable face, aside from Jamie Lee Curtis, was Leslie Nielsen, who plays the principal of the high school all the students go to. But
Is he playing a comedic character or?
no, totally serious. No, it's all totally straight. He's concerned for the murders that have been going on in his high school. It's kind of hilarious to see him play a completely dry, flat character that is just this horror movie person. Like, there's nothing else about him, like nothing even remotely interesting about him other than the fact that he's supposed to fulfill the adult that is watching the story unfold from afar as he slowly starts getting more and more involved. So obviously the film is called Prom Night. It culminates in the prom night that's going on at this particular high school, where a masked killer is stalking several students who were all involved in, well, essentially it was a murder.
Oh.
They were picking on one of their classmates years ago. I think it was 12 years prior or something. 6 years
Fucking
prior.
hold a grudge.
Yeah. So 6 years prior to this particular prom night, several students were picking on one of their classmates when she backed out of a window off of like the second or third story of this abandoned building, and she fell, was like paralyzed. The window pane fell, slit her throat open.
Oh.
She bled out in front of all the kids, and they all just ran home because they didn't know what to do. And they were like, we're not going to tell anyone. We're just going to run home. And then it jumps to years later. Some of the kids are still visiting her grave. Some aren't, which leads you to think who might be involved in the killing. Anyways, it's a fun ride. It's cheesy as fuck, of course.
Nice.
You have a lot of the same, again, running over the same ground, but I kind of like how they present it. If anything, there's a lot of similarities to Halloween, setting aside the fact that friggin' Jamie Lee Curtis stars in this movie. She's almost the same character in this movie.
Dang.
But still a fun ride. If you're just down for this kind of trashy slasher, give it a go. Have fun. Again, for this kind of garbage horror movie, it's a green light.
Now, where can I find that movie?
I have personally watched it on Comet TV, which is a antenna network that is available in most places across the United States, but it is also available on Amazon Prime, where you get the full uncut version, which isn't exactly what I saw. So you're going to get some more little tidbits that I didn't get to see, which are the exact tidbits you would imagine I'm talking about. So
nice.
Have fun with that. It's available there. Amazon Prime. Have fun. It's a fun terrible.
I'm going to jump in with another new movie from last Friday. This one's a documentary called Inmate Number 1, The Rise of Danny Trejo. I saw this trailer a couple of months ago, and I'm like, holy fuck, this trailer alone makes me so fucking interested in this movie. I have to see it. So I bought it when it came on Amazon Prime. It was like $12. You can rent it anywhere for like $6, I think. But this is a documentary about Danny Trejo's life. It starts off, we get a good majority of it seeing his childhood, how life was going pretty good. He had a little mishap here and there, and like he moved in with his dad. His parents were divorced. He lived with his grandmother with like 7 other cousins of his who were all females, and his grandparents, it was his mother's parents, that were loving. And then for some reason he left there and moved in with his father's family. And that's where life got a little rough for Danny. And I don't know why I'm going in deep here, but his uncle, he idolized. And his uncle ran with the wrong crew and did some sketchy shit and got Danny kind of in a bad place. And then it moves on to, holy shit, Danny is now in prison. And we hear all about that. And then we transition into Danny being in movies, going from trying to just help someone feel like they're an inmate in a movie to being spotted as, oh shit, you're that boxer. Because apparently he was a world-class boxer known for like winning the boxing title at like San Quentin. Like apparently there's back in the day boxing tournaments in prisons. People knew him. Like he had a tattoo on his chest. People knew him from prison to prison because he bounced around a lot. But he was like a legend. And the screenwriter of the movie he was on, or no, I think it was the director saw him and he's like, hey, I want you in my movie. You look great. And then the screenwriter was like an inmate at one point, and he's like, oh, you're Danny Trejo. He slowly builds up from being an extra to working up into movies, working up into starring in movies, working up to just all the charitable stuff he does, showing him like going and talking to inmates, talking to people. And it really shows him in his community, like his family, his friends, people that have worked with them. So yeah, pretty much he just follows Danny Trejo throughout his whole life, and it's riveting. It's really cool shit. It's very long. I think the movie's like an hour and 48 minutes, but it drags a lot because you're hearing everything his whole life. So I'd say it's a yellow light.
Now, is this something that's like, is it a lot of interviews or is there like reenactment?
No, it's pretty much just interviews. Like you can tell that he has told these stories to his family and his friends and people he knows, like, because everyone specifically knows every in and out of these stories. And the funny thing is, they talked about how in Desperado, his first movie working with Robert Rodriguez, they just wanted someone who looked tough and didn't speak at all. So they got Danny. And Danny really wanted to talk, and Robert's like, no, you don't talk. It's going to be a great performance that way. And then someone's like, oh, was that a character choice? And he's like, yeah, I decided to do that myself. But the funny thing is about that, they apparently on set realized that they're second cousins. They never knew until that point.
Oh, shit. Oh, that's funny.
And then after that, he's like, come on, man, I'm your cousin. Let me give me a better role here. And then he just talks about working with them all the time and wanting to make the Mexploitation movies with Machete and everything with them. And
which are fucking classic.
Oh, yeah.
I love those.
And it just made me want to watch this. But he really seems like a really amazing guy, the way they present him in this. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just wish, once again, the movie was kind of shorter. I know it's a sad thing to ask for, but it's very insightful. It's great. You really get to know the ins and out of him, and it's nice seeing the vulnerability. And they even say, like, he's done all these movies and everything, so many movies. He doesn't even know the titles of the movies. He just knows his lines and shows up to do what he's doing. Like, he just does so much. Like, he do like 7 or 8 movies. Yeah, he just loves working, it sounds like, which is nice. So, yeah, it's called Inmate Number 1, The Rise of Danny Trejo. You can rent it anywhere. It's a yellow light. Anything else that you have, Dennis?
I don't think so.
All right, I have one more movie I want to talk about really quick. My Spy, starring Dave Bautista.
Nice.
So this movie was supposed to release a bunch of times, but it kept getting pushed back left and right. And it was finally supposed to release before the pandemic hit, but then it didn't. And then it became an Amazon original movie, so you can watch it on Amazon Prime for free. Pretty much it's about a man who was a soldier his whole life, becomes a spy, and he's not very good at it. And so his boss says, I'll give you a very easy job. You just got to watch this one woman, a single woman and her child, to see if her brother-in-law shows up. The brother-in-law is doing some shady shit, and you just got to watch and just report on what you see. It turns out the daughter of the woman notices what's happening, and she kind of cons him in and blackmails him into showing her how to be a badass and how to be like a
Oh.
spy. And at the same time, Kristen Shaw is kind of his hacker, his kind of computer girl, his computer guy that's there. She helps him with everything, and she wants to be a spy, and she's trying to get him to show her how to be a spy, and he doesn't. He only shows the girl, and there's resentment there. And
Oh, Jesus.
then the little girl really wants her mother to date him, and she kind of forces it on him. He and the woman become a couple, essentially. And
Oh, okay. Of course.
the government finds out about it. She finds out that he's a spy and all this, and it blows up. I'm spoiling the movie. I'm not going to give you details. But it's really fun. It's I don't know why. It's a big family movie. It's rated PG-13, but it's fun. It's exciting. There's some good action. And honestly, I think this is Dave Bautista's best acting job that I've ever seen. Like,
Really? Okay.
yeah,
I mean, I
feel
guess
like he shines in this.
Guardians isn't exactly like high level acting there.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to do. He's more of a human in this. Every time I see him as a human,
nice.
in other movies, he's kind of stoic. He seems like he's acting. He seems like he's like a brick wall. He has no emotions. And this, he has emotions, and it's fun. I'd say My Spy is a green light. If you have a family, if you have kids, go check it out. That brings me to the end of the movies pretty much, except, Dennis, you and I watched the movie together over the pandemic.
That's true. We kind of had a fun shared viewing experience where, now I forget the theater chain that originally hosted it. What was the name of that?
So there is this new, I don't know if it's new, but RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan, he has this label called 36 Chambers, and
That's right.
they have a now virtual cinema pretty much. Every Friday they put out movies. I watched one movie there a couple of weeks ago, a Kung Fu movie, but this movie we saw is a blaxploitation movie. Dennis, you want to talk about what it is and tell us what?
Hell yeah. This is Petey Wheatstraw, the Devil's Son-in-Law. This is a movie starring Rudy Ray Moore. Clearly, this is well after his hit classic, Dolomite. But it's very much in that tone of, it just perfectly captures the place it exists in. The budget it lives in, the locations made available, just everything that was available to him when he made this movie. Oh my God, it's just so spot on. And to me, and I think to you as well, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, it was very inspiring to see someone that just fucking made the movie he wanted to make.
Oh yeah.
And it just lives so well in this very politically incorrect tone. The violence is over the top. There's unnecessary sexualization, kung fu that is totally inaccurate. All of these great components in all the wrong amounts and in just the right mix when combined together for me.
And so the plot of this movie is there's a badass, a guy who was born pretty much almost a teenager. The movie starts with this like teenager coming out of a woman.
That's right.
Picking the shit out of a doctor. And pretty much then we see the Karate Kid. He learns Kung Fu from this guy. And this movie came out well before Karate Kid came out. He learns Kung Fu as a kid. And pretty much he's a badass. He kicks everyone's ass. He's cool. The community loves him. He's at a funeral that everyone in the funeral gets gunned down. Everyone dies. And he goes to hell. And the devil is like, hey, Petey Wheatstraw, you want to go back up to the earth? I can send you back to earth. One condition. You got to marry my daughter. My daughter is so ugly, nobody will marry her. And he looks at her. He's like, oh, yeah, she is ugly. But I'll marry her.
The audience doesn't. I got to mention, as the audience member, you don't see what the daughter looks like for like the entire movie, I think.
Yeah.
Which is great. Sorry, I just had to mention that.
So yeah, they send him back up to Earth because he's like he's also an entertainer. Is he a comic or a musician or?
Yeah, it's kind of like he's like a live host personality where he would do song, he would do comedy. But he would be like he would separate the acts on stage when you go to like these clubs and stuff. And when we see a night of what his stage set would look like. He riffs on some audience members a little bit, but there's like a live band, and he's just this very big personality that is a big entertainer in the neighborhood that a lot of people know.
Yeah. So he gets to go back and does that stuff, and he's in a relationship. He has a bunch of friends, and they're all like, "What are you gonna do? You gonna marry the daughter's devil?" And he pretty much gets even more badass because he has a cane that has superpowers in it, and he ends up tricking the devil. And then the devil has to come back, and there's a big fight. Oh man, this movie,
the fight is awesome,
insane. It's great.
Let alone setting aside the fact that God giving you a stick with all the powers of God in it, and then you're going to do battle with God with the stick. That is this movie. It is, but it is so wonderful. The costumes are amazing. Just the dialogue that Rudy Ray Moore has, everything he came up with to say is just so.
Just Rudy Ray Moore's cadence and his personality and persona is so amazing.
It really is.
The one scene as we're talking that blew my mind, there's just a scene of the devil running in a tracksuit down a street, just jogging down a street. And then he meets Petey and he's like, "Come on, before you marry my daughter, let's go to this abandoned area." And he goes in, and then there's a giant orgy that happens.
Yeah.
It was so weird. All these naked ladies with horns. Oh, man. It was so insane.
They just randomly cut to these things. Oh, God. It's... if you're a fan of the Eddie Murphy film,
Dolomite is My Name.
Dolomite is My Name. Or if you're just straight up a fan of Rudy Ray Moore and just happen to not get to this film, it is so worth watching. It is a fun ride. It's more of that if this is what you're expecting, you know?
Yeah, well worth it. You can probably rent it on Amazon or anywhere for like a couple of bucks. It's an awesome movie.
Shit, if I see this on Blu-ray somewhere, I'm gonna buy it. I want to own this thing. It is great.
And the beauty of this 36 Cinema thing that we're talking about, that we watched it on, there was live commentary. A guy from the Chappelle Show named Donald Rollins was doing it with another guy, John Surgent. He's a film reviewer, and a couple other guys. And we got live commentary throughout this thing, and it was great. And then they played the movie without commentary after, and it was $10 a ticket.
Oh yeah,
can't beat
totally
it.
Worth the money. It was a great value for that.
So green light. Oh man,
God damn it! It is it is a fun time. Even if it's one of those you're gonna have a drink with it, you're gonna smoke a bowl with it. This is that kind of movie. You just have fun. Just have fun.
Why not? So yeah, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. I want to apologize to you guys if you're still listening. Hopefully you're still listening. Normally we don't run this long. Normally we're in a half an hour time zone where we haven't edited the episode yet. We're about an hour in. We just wanted to give you a rundown of the bigger things that we've seen, things that you might have missed that's streaming and new. Please subscribe to us on social media. We're at Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube, Twitch, all at movie_toast. And please we're on all the fucking areas where you can download podcasts. Please subscribe, auto download the podcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. I don't know. What do you think, Dennis?
If there's something that you felt the show has been missing, that's something we're really into hearing right now. What is a segment you guys would want to hear from us? Or do you need more of something? Like, do we need to double down somewhere?
Are there any movies that you want to review us to review? Or are there any? Do you disagree with any of our reviews? Please, tweet us or anything, and maybe we'll read it and interact with you on the show or whatnot. Yeah.
Track down the Discord. We will chat there on occasion. We'd love to chat with you. The voice channel is open. Jump on over.
And like we said in the opening of the show, we're going to have a movie news live show on Twitter. We could, but we're not going to. On Twitch every Sunday night. And hopefully you guys will watch it and tell your friends about it. And then over on YouTube, we got Trailer Talk coming up every week. So please subscribe. Check us out. You get all that info on the social medias. Thanks for listening.
Stay toasty.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's say 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Fuck, we're not up that early. It's like, why not put our fucking ugly faces out in the world and see what's going on.